Okay, yesterday we were discussing about chuppahs, indoors, outdoors. Okay, so let's go through now just a chuppah situation from beginning to end. Okay, so we learned that chassan and kala fast the day of the wedding. If the chuppah is in the middle of the day, then there's an argument if they have to finish the fast or not. The custom is, that's what we hold, is that you break the fast after the chuppah.
Why the fast?
The day of the wedding is their Yom Kippur. Okay, we learned, I'm not going into all that stuff again. Okay, so now what happens at the actual chuppah? Okay? So in many circles, like in our circles, chassan and kala don't see each other for 7 days before the wedding. It's not halacha, it's a minhag. Not only that, they don't even talk to each other. The only question is, can you text? Can you do this? Can you do it? But that's separate issues. But in our days, the chassan and kala try not to see each other. There's a lot of reasons for it, halachic reason. There's a very practical reason. I was once at a wedding many years ago, and the chassan says to me, you know, you guys are so smart, not talking to the kala a week before the wedding. We were arguing already today, the day of the wedding, we were arguing. You guys don't see each other, you don't talk to each other, it's much better that way. But there's halachic issues with that involvement also. Okay, that's number one. So now you have what's called chassan's tish. Tish means a table in Yiddish. So you have a chassan's tish. What is a chassan's tish? So different places they do different things. Generally, at the chassan's tish is when they write the tanoim and the ksubah. They fill out the tanoim, and I'll explain in a second what each one is. They fill out the tanoim and the ksubah. Now, the tanoim basically is not a prenuptial agreement. The two parents are basically in the tanoim agreeing that they're going to marry off the kids on this and this date, and everything, all the payments and all the issues and bills that had to be paid for, everything was done. The only thing left to do is that they should get married. That's what we write in the tanoim basically now. Years ago, not very long ago, people when they got engaged would write the tanoim then. Now, what we mentioned this in the past. Why is it a problem doing that? Why don't people do it today? Most people don't do it today, except in certain individual situations. The reason why we don't do it today is because, God forbid, if they write tanoim and the engagement is broken, it says in halacha it would be preferable for them to get married and get a get rather than breaking the tanoim.
Has anybody done that?
Yeah, so Lepel, today, that's why today we write it at the chuppah. If they're not changing their mind now, maybe later they will, but right now, there's no chance that before the chuppah they're going to change their mind. So what is the tanoim? The tanoim is basically an agreement, right, which is between the two sides. The father of the chassan, the father of the kala. So basically we said everything's going to get, and there's guarantors from the chassan side, a guarantor from the kala side, and then you have Adam sign on it. Then the custom is that after the tanoim is read, usually you fill out the ksubah too, we'll get to in a second, but after the tanoim, the two mothers come in, and they read the tanoim. Somebody reads the tanoim, a rabbi, whoever it is, reads the tanoim, and then when they're done, the two mothers break a plate. If you ever had a religious wedding, that the two mothers come in, after they read the tanoim, the two mothers break a plate. Okay? As if to show if anything should be broken, it should be this plate.
One plate?
One plate. They hold it together, believe it or not. The two sides, they have to get along at that moment. The two mothers, they have to get along. Later, it doesn't matter. But at that moment, the two mothers got to get along, and they break the plate together. They don't smash it against each other. They break it on the floor, on the back of a chair, and so on. And then you fill out the ksubah. Now, the ksubah is a very important one.
God forbid there is one of them, the mother.
So then somebody else, whoever's going to be walking them down, use or if it's one mother, one mother does it. All right? Okay, now the ksubah. The ksubah is a very important legal document. The ksubah is actually a very important document. The ksubah is the financial responsibilities of a husband to a wife for the duration of the marriage. and after the marriage. So the ksuba, not all details are written in the ksuba, but it's self-understood. Halacha is that there's, for instance, there's obligations of the chassan, of the husband, so to speak, that he should feed her, clothe her. If she gets sick, he has an obligation to heal her. Basically, he has to deal with her as, the minig of the customs, the way husbands are supposed to treat their wives. Then also the ksuba says that if, God forbid, there's a divorce or the husband dies, so then the woman collects the 200 zuz, which is the virgin ksuba. The non-virgin ksuba is 100 zuz. And that afterwards, if there's death or a divorce, so then the wife collects that money from the husband's estate. For a virgin, it's 200 zuz. For a non-virgin, it's 100 zuz. So that the chassan picks up the handkerchief, he does a kinyan. By the Tanoim, they also did kinyanim, but again, the Tanoim is really null and void. As soon as the chuppah happens, the Tanoim is non-existent entity anymore. You could throw it out. People keep it for sentimental value, but technically you can just throw it out. The ksuba is a document that's the financial obligations of the husband to the wife. In fact, the Gemara says a man is forbidden to live with his wife if she lost her ksuba. She doesn't have it, she doesn't know where it is. So it's interesting, by Sfardim, there's a tradition, they give it, the kala after the marriage gives it to her mother to hold. Why? Because she was not afraid the husband's going to come and take it and rip it up and dump it somewhere, You try getting it from your mother-in-law. I don't.
The husband preferred staying married than going to his mother.
That's why he won't go to her to get it. But it's actually the chassan picks up the handkerchief, and that legally binds him to everything mentioned in the ksuba, and that's why it's very important that the date of the ksuba is written properly. It can't be predated. It could be postdated. Whatever, there's a lot of halachic issues with collecting from collateral and things like that. You have to make sure if the wedding is today, the date is today. Now in our circles, we write the ksuba during the day, even if the chuppah is at night. And it's not a problem, because as long as the date on the ksuba and the date they signed it is the same date. You can't write the ksuba, the date of the ksuba during the day, and then sign it at night, because then it's a predated document, because the chuppah happened at night. But if you write today's date and you sign it today during the day, even if the chuppah is late at night, it's not a problem. If you're going to write the ksuba by the time of the chuppah, so then you write, if it's at night or like now, if somebody would be writing a ksuba, they would, after nightfall, they would write tomorrow's date already. So instead of 25th of Cheshvan, would be the 26th of Cheshvan. And then you need 2 kosher witnesses, and the kosher witnesses need to be religious and not related to anybody, and mamish frum kosher Shem Shabbos witnesses.
How much is that?
It's questionable in today's amount. How much it ranges from a few $1,000s to basically what it is in simple English, like a year's support. How much you would need to live a year.
You do anything if you find out later that one of the witnesses was not kosher?
Then you have to rewrite the ksuba. So again, the ksuba is a document. Now, in today's world, because in the divorce settlement in court, there's money, it's usually more money than the ksuba has. So today, in the frum circles, if there's a civil marriage where there's going to be a civil divorce in court and a settlement in court, so then they usually don't end up collecting the ksuba, because practically speaking, they're going to get more than the ksuba anyway. But you must have a ksuba document. If somebody loses the ksuba document, they have to write another one. It's called ksuba den eichasa, a lost ksuba. If, let's say, you found out one of the witnesses were not kosher, then you have to rewrite the ksuba in a different text. A ksuba that there was a mistake in. What happens if somebody wrote the name wrong? Somebody wrote the date wrong? Somebody, whatever. So then it was a kosher ksuba, but there was a mistake in it. So then there's a text called ksuba that you find a mistake in it. And again, it has to be written properly. Okay, machat shina so ma'ich ma'ach be'vamayin kim shibla gal teira chanam lekashem edot gedbo